Auburn wraps up their 2025 spring football practice. Let's discuss it on this live edition of the Uptempo podcast. Let's go. What's up, Auburn family? What's up, Uptempo gang? Dustin Smith and Blake Lane here tonight to talk about, Blake, they called it A-Day.
Yeah.
Didn't really feel much like an A-Day. I didn't go. I know you weren't there. I did a poll on Twitter, though, asking people that were there if they liked the format, if they enjoyed it. I know you interacted a little bit under that post, and it was like 90% of the people said that they that were there said they did not enjoy it, the ones that answered the poll anyway. So it wasn't that popular of a thing as far as the actual events. And for us as content people, there's really not a whole lot to take from it. So I figure tonight we can just kind of look at spring practice as a whole, take a look at some of these storylines coming out of it. A little bit of a situation that went on this week at the University of Tennessee that we want to discuss. So got a lot to talk about. Got the baseball game on right now. The boys are red hot taking on Jacksonville State. So that's always a good time. Got some big news today on the basketball side of things. I'm sure we can talk about that later in the week. So a lot of stuff going on the Plains, plenty of Auburn sports to talk about. But Blake, let's start right here. And I see people are already talking about it in the comments. One big takeaway from I'm going to call it an open practice. The open practice that fans are allowed to go to, little warm-up session on Saturday inside Jordan-Hare Stadium. We saw some highlights of Perry Thompson making every kind of play, going up high, getting the ball, diving out and getting the ball. You just kind of boxing DBs out, making some plays. So it seems like Perry really had a good day. And so our guy, Perry Thompson, Blake, making some noise. We had heard some things earlier in spring camp about a guy like Sam Turner, maybe jumping to him in the spot. You got Big Body and Horatio Fields coming in from the portal. So kind of was worried about maybe where Perry stood on the depth chart. And it seems like in the last practice of spring camp, he really went out there and had a good day and made a strong impression.
Yeah, Dustin, like that's the reason I brought it up to Mike the other night, right? Because I wasn't worried, but I was more like, okay, it's Perry's time. We really looked at his freshman year and we were like, okay, KLS is there. We understand it. We get it, why he's not playing a lot. He dealt with a couple injuries. Hey, it happens. He's a freshman. He got there late. He didn't go through spring ball last year. He was open about that, about how it was kind of a struggle. And, he got there late and he had a tough time getting to know the playbook and getting to know where to line up and all that. He said he was lost. And so this year I was really expecting him to come on, and it was kind of quiet. You weren't really hearing his name. And so to see him come out at A-Day and have that type of performance, like, it gives me all the confidence in the world that we're going to get the Perry Thompson that we saw in Foley, Alabama. And he's going to translate into the college football world for the Auburn Tigers. And Hugh Freeze is just licking his chops over there saying, hey, if I get this Perry Thompson with this Cam Coleman and this Malcolm Simmons and this Eric Singleton Jr. and Horatio Fields and Bryce Kane and Sam Turner and almost ran out of breath right there. Naming all the receivers. Hey, there's some names there, and I think it feels good for Auburn fans, right? Hey, we always said we're not going to worry about the wide receiver position under Hugh Freeze. We're going to have dudes there, and to have Perry Thompson elevate his game, I look back at the KLS thing and that whole situation, and KLS being the veteran teacher to Perry, maybe teaching him certain things with routes or learning the playbook, where to line up and things like that, man. It goes a long way, and that's why I was patient for Perry to get on the field last year. I wasn't screaming for him. I wish he kind of would have did the red shirt thing, but, guys, and it's different in this day of college football. It's different. I do wish he would have took the red shirt, though, but I fully expect Perry Thompson to come on this fall and have a great year. I think he's going to have some open looks, man. Like, these guys are going to have the opportunity to eat and have big seasons across the board, especially if Jackson Arnold hits that potential that we all know he can reach. It's there. He's just gotta touch it, right? And so I think it could be a big mismatch. These wide receivers across the board. I mean, these guys are freaks. You saw the mismatches last year. We just didn't have a quarterback that could get it to them. Yeah. So, man, you really look across the board, and Perry Thompson and Cam Coleman. Sheesh, sign me up. Like, sign the dotted line because I'm all in for it. Throw the chips all in. We got a full house, man. I'm excited.
When you talk about him, probably should have accepted the red shirt when the coaches proposed it to him last year. And,
Yeah.
like you said, 10 years ago, coaches tell you to red shirt, you go on red shirt. Now players can tell him, no, that's okay. I don't think I will. And then you hear him this spring saying those things about how he wasn't ready. And it's like, that's probably what the coaches were trying to tell you, Perry. You probably should have
Yeah.
red shirted. But I get it. It's just, but the thing to me is, this is a normal progression rate. It's only his second year of college football, and that's
Yep.
probably why he should have took the red shirt. It's not. This is the way it normally works. Cam
Mhm.
Coleman's are really, really rare, and I think that he hurt his shoulder in that Cal game, and it affected him there for about a month and a half. And then when we had that bye
Mhm.
week, and I think he had that one play where he didn't really look too enthusiastic about blocking on a run play, and his man that he was supposed to block tackled, took away what would have been a big gain. He rightfully got called out for that, and it's pretty obvious that Cam took that personal and was a different player in the second half, and also Auburn probably got scared of him leaving in the portal and decided to make sure he was a feature in the offense and feed him a little bit.
Yeah.
So that probably had a part of it too. But even a guy like Cam, what I'm saying is, uh, even that guy, it took him half a season to get ready. For Perry, it's like, yeah, this is normal, man. Like 10, 15 years ago,
Mhm.
yes, even a high 4-star, 5-star type caliber guy might have had to sit a year or two. Like it's not that crazy. We just live in this
Yep.
time now, this era of college football where it's, well, he was a highly ranked prospect. Why ain't he showing out 3 games into his freshman year? It still doesn't work that way, man. This is still the SEC. It's still big boy football. So for the fact
Yep.
that in his second spring, or it might be his first spring, right? Because wasn't he
First
late?
spring. Yeah.
First
Yeah. He
spring,
was
yeah.
late.
Exactly. Yeah, come on. This progression totally makes sense. This is his first spring going into a sophomore year. Yeah, I expect big things from Perry this year. It's a crowded room though, so the numbers might not be that big. He might have to
Yeah.
be a little bit, a little bit patient and take his opportunities when they come. But also, that they're like, unfortunately, we don't want this to be the case, but probably will be some attrition in that room. Like guys might get banged up or whatever, and he's going to get his shot. So yeah, I expect Perry to make big plays. One thing, when you have guys like Perry Thompson on your team, the red zone bullcrap's got to go. There's
Yeah.
there's there's no reason. You've got Cam Coleman's, you've got, whether it's Jackson Arnold or Deuce Knight, you've got athletic quarterbacks that can make things happen with their legs. You got running backs that you believe in. You've had 3 years to build an offensive line. So, and you got weapons. You named them off there, all over the place. So and a
Mhm.
lot of those are big body guys. This looks like a Hugh Freeze wide receiver room. You got guys that can do everything.
Yep.
So there's no excuse. I mean, at this point in time, Perry Thompson should be able to run a goal line fade. So, like, and when you have Perry Thompson on your team, and now hopefully that he's kind of feels a little bit better about the playbook and understanding and all that, you can run that goal line fade with Perry Thompson instead of Robert Lewis, because that didn't work. That didn't work at all. So want to use guys like Perry, man, and put them in a position to be successful. So I'm happy for him. Blake, I got this comment started right here saying that Daniel says Deuce looked just okay to me. So yeah, Jackson didn't even participate. So Auburn only had 2 scholarship quarterbacks even participating this spring, and only one of them participated in quotation marks A-Day. So yeah, I mean, he's been throwing the ball a lot this spring. It was the last practice. It was pretty publicized that he hadn't had any turnovers up until that practice. I've seen that publicized all over the place at this point, so I trust the people that are saying that. Saw somebody in the comments of the War Report show Sunday saying, actually, I've been in practice and Deuce has been turning it over a lot in spring. And it's like, okay, well, you're the only person, and this person actually claims that they snuck into practice. Don't believe that story. So you know what I'm talking about. He's been saying it under our videos as well. I don't believe you, bro. I know you'll be in the comment. I don't believe that you snuck into Auburn football practice and know more than everybody else. So by all accounts, that was a crazy comment. By all accounts, that was the first turnovers that Deuce Knight had. I don't make much from it. I mean, Jackson Arnold's gonna start versus Baylor if he's healthy and ready to go, and it would take multiple games of him playing bad before we got to look at Deuce. So, but I still think that Deuce is your number 2 going into week 1, and I think that Deuce Knight, as we look back on his first spring, him getting here early, great for him, and it only being 2 guys, I think it benefited him. I think if we had to make a winners and a losers list of spring, you definitely put Deuce in the winners bracket.
What did you expect from a true freshman at A-Day in that weird setting? What did you expect Deuce Knight to come out and just light the world on fire? I don't know. I don't take a whole lot away from him just being okay. That's what I expect from a true freshman. I don't expect true freshmen to come in and light the world on fire and, oh my God, he's the guy. Like, I just don't. I don't. And look, I'll even kick it over to baseball real quick. I said the other night, it's amazing how these true freshmen have come in for Auburn and they're playing the way they're playing in the SEC. I get non-con, all right? Non-con, that they're going to light the world on fire. But the way they're playing in SEC play, I was like, man, this is unreal. Because they're true freshmen. They just transitioned from high school. And so Deuce, man, like, I thought he did some things well. There was just a couple throws that he made that he probably made in high school, and he fit the window, and he tried to make them Saturday, and he realized this ain't high school anymore.
He also has to throw. When you're in perimeter drill, you have to throw. I mean, so he's going to force. He could have easily ran. I mean,
it's just not something I'm going to hang my hat on and be like, okay, I expect him to turn the ball over. He's a freshman. It's going to happen. I still think he's a stud. Look, I watched him. I watched him in that All-Star game, and look, I'm not saying like the jury was out or anything for me, but I kind of looked at it as like he was playing Mississippi high school football. Okay, let's see what he's going to do in this game. And then when I watched him in that game, I was like, okay, we got a guy. We got one. Now, I never actually believed that he would start over Jackson Arnold, but I think it's a good thing that he's putting the fire on Jackson Arnold.
Right.
I think it's tremendous for Auburn to have a true freshman come in and say, hey, if you don't play well, I'm here. So you better bring the A+ stuff, or we will turn to Deuce Knight because he's a guy. And I think it's great that he's getting chemistry with the ones. I'll be the first to say I think it's great that Jackson Arnold, I'm not going to say it's great that he sat out and didn't participate, but I think it's great for Deuce. I think it's a good thing for Deuce that Jackson Arnold didn't participate Saturday, for him to get that chemistry with these guys and work with these guys. And he's getting reps with the ones and the twos, man. That's a great thing for Deuce. So, he threw a couple picks. He turned it over finally. Like, I don't,
right.
I'm not mad about it. I expect it from him. I really do. Like, I don't expect him to be perfect. He's still 18, 19 years old. He's got to get ready for game speed. It's a little different than Mississippi high school football. And, he's realizing that now. When you get out there with the K and Lees and, all these guys, the Crawfords and the Harrises, and that secondary is real, So I'm cool with it, man. As long as he's out there competing and giving his A+ stuff, I think Deuce is going to be just fine.
Yeah, I mean, just look at it's night and day difference between the last true freshman out of high school that you had brought in last year, just in the terms of what Hugh says about him. I
Yeah.
mean, when Walker White got brought up, and it's no shot at Walker because Deuce is much farther along than most freshman quarterbacks are. He's more talented than most quarterbacks are, so it's not a shot at Walker. But the word swimming is what was used time and time again. They said, "Hey, Walker's got arm talent," but Hugh repeatedly said he's swimming.
Yeah. Yep.
Sounds a lot different about Deuce Knight, right? Like it seems like he is ready to go. And then also, again, he's a guy that can run, can make things happen with his legs in a drill where the defenders know he's going to have to throw the ball. He's not live. There's not even a line in that drill. And also, the defense they've seen these plays all spring. I think the Auburn defense knows the Auburn offense at this point. They've seen that 100 times. So a couple turnovers, I'm not going to worry about it at all. I think that Deuce Knight leaves this spring camp as a big winner. Stock rising, a guy that if we have to play, you never want to go to a true freshman. But if it becomes that in the season next year, I mean, I feel okay. I'm not going to be like, oh my God, what are we going to do? You feel like, okay, the Deuce Knight era started a little bit earlier than we expected. That's all that'll be.
Yeah, I like this comment right here too. If Deuce lit it up against our ones on defense, I would be nervous for this season, honestly. What a comment, right? I would take a step back and say, man, was it something again about our defense? Like, were we being told something that, wasn't real or something like that? Like I would be nervous to say maybe this secondary isn't that great. If we got a true freshman coming on, lighting up our defense, and I would really take a step back, Dustin, and say, okay, well, why is Deuce lighting us up? Is he really that good, or are these guys like, did they not take the next step? Are these freshmen not good? I think the freshmen are pretty dang good because you got people skipping town.
Yeah.
Right. So for him to throw a couple picks, I think that's a good thing. I think it's a good thing for Deuce to get time with the ones. Like I said, man, I think it's a good thing for him and Jackson to be going back and forth, competing, even though it's not really a competition. I think it's a good thing for them to switch in and out, man. And hey, maybe Ja can take something from Deuce and Deuce take something from Ja, right? I think that's a plus all around. And that's something that we haven't had at Auburn in a minute, because let's be honest, all right, let's cut the crap with Auburn quarterback room the last 2 years. There was never a quarterback competition. It was all smoke. It was all baloney. It was all BS, okay? Peyton Thorne was the guy. There never was another guy. Robbie Ashford wasn't the guy. Hank Brown wasn't the guy. They all left town. Holden Garner, they're all gone. All right. So it was always Peyton Thorne, but you had the media come out and say, oh, well, look, this is what's happening. This guy looks better and all this. And it was just a disaster. And of course, as Auburn fans, everybody gets hyped up, and we're sitting there and we're like, oh man, Robbie's pushing PT. Robbie's pushing. And then you find out there was no push. Like this was the guy. This was him. And so to have Deuce be the face at A-Day at the quarterback position, I think it's a good thing, man. I think it's for the future. It's a good thing for this season, just in case if Ja goes down. We know he's hampering a little bit with the hammy. I think it's a good thing. So I'm proud of Deuce, man. I'm glad to see him getting in there. I think it's a good thing that the Daniels kid isn't showing up for a little bit. I like the quarterback room and where it sits right now. I think we're good. I think Deuce is legit. I think Jackson Arnold's legit. And I think we're going to be okay there. And I feel like it's a breath of fresh air to finally say that as an Auburn fan. Because if the Jackson Arnold experiment doesn't work, I'm not going to be nervous falling back on Deuce. I'm going to say, okay, go in there and let it rip, man. Like, go in there and let it hang out. Like, this is your time. Go spin it. Don't be shocked. Don't be scared. Go in there and seize the opportunity. And that's why I'm excited about him being the face at 8A and getting the first team reps, man.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said, and I agree with you, efficient gaming. We all know that this Auburn defense is we're pretty high, right? I asked Mike on the last episode we did if things going to be top 10 defense, and I asked Mike that because I think that the Auburn defense should be around a top, statistically if they become that, whatever. But like, will they be a top 10 type unit?
Yeah.
I think so. I think they will. We got some dogs, absolute dogs back there in that defensive backfield, and the one thing, well, there's two things: third and long, and creating more turnovers. Those are the two things I want to see the defense do. So there's a flip side of that. I'm happy that the defense has created some turnovers, right? So, that's why I think hopefully we, in a couple of years, we're at a point to where we can have an actual spring game versus another team and have a little bit more to judge off of, because I just think that what happened Saturday, I get why it happened, but that's lame, bro. That's just lame.
It's
the format I'm talking about.
Yeah. It's where we're headed, not only in sports, but just in the world. It's just it's softness. That's just what it is. It's softness. It's I don't want other people looking at my players on TV. Well, then win, and they won't leave. If you win, they won't leave. All right. The dude who started all that, Matt Rule. You're at Nebraska. You're losing. All right. If you don't want people poaching your players, then win games. Like, I don't know. I feel like you should play. Football is it's going down that slope, man. We all know where it's just there's a lot to talk about it too.
Yeah, we could do a series. We could not just one episode. We could do a whole series on just where this sport is going, and I think we'll talk about it here in a minute. This week, the people that thought they wasn't going a certain route got a big slap in the face. But before we talk about that, there have been some entries so far into the portal, as you can expect at the conclusion of spring practice. We think there's going to be some more names out there eventually, but right now, Terrence Love, J.C. Hart, and C.J. Johnson are the players who have made it public that they have entered the transfer portal. And Blake, I know me and you have talked a little bit about this off air, and it's just one of them things where, wish these guys the best, not mad at them, because I feel like some of these guys probably got told to enter the portal because you got some guys in Fagans and Winners, and so you got some guys coming in, Blake, that probably pushed these cats out.
For sure, and I think it's a loaded DB room, and I wouldn't be surprised like if Auburn went out and got a veteran guy, just for some depth or whatever. I just feel like these were some guys that they were like, hey, go get a fresh start. You let younger guys beat you out, and you got Champ Anthony coming back and going to be at that nickel spot probably, and so there's just not a lot of room in there right now, and for the younger guys, because these true freshmen are balling out. You're hearing their names pop. You're seeing them pick Deuce Knight off. Like it's just they're there, man, and I think that's the evaluation of talent from the staff and the recruiting. Everybody remember when they wanted to downplay the state of Alabama in recruiting, the top 10, Auburn nailing all those guys? Well, it's mighty funny that Winners and Fagans are balling right now. And they're just like, man, I'm telling you, don't but like one or two guys out of that top 10 hit every year. I'm telling you. All right, well, who used to dominate the state of Alabama recruiting, and how many damn national championships did he win? So it doesn't matter, like, don't listen to all the BS that the social media, what are they, the social media burner accounts talk about. It's, I think we're in a good spot. And if we lose a couple more guys, I mean, Auburn's still in a good spot, man. Like we're talking about linebackers, like people are saying, "Oh, we could lose a linebacker here in a couple days." Elijah Melendez is a true freshman, and you're already hearing his name. They're like, "Hey, man, he's gonna play. Dude's gonna play. You're not gonna be able to keep him off the field." So when we lose a guy, we're gonna get a guy. We're gonna go get a depth piece. Okay, just take for instance, look what Auburn did with Jalen McLeod. You bring him in, and he balls for you. Look at Philip Blitty. Like you were so bad, and you needed help there, and you were like, okay, well let's go take a flyer on Blitty, and he comes in and he's a spark plug for you. Like, Auburn's gonna probably do that at linebacker. I think we're okay. But a lot of people are like, oh my God, we're losing people to the portal. Like, what a disaster. I was like, I don't think it's a disaster at all. I think these young kids are hooping. I think they're out there balling, man. So, yeah, I mean, it's a good thing.
Yeah. The Elijah Melendez being a low-rated 3-star was probably –
yeah.
I watched that tape, and I was just like, "Do what?" Like, yeah. Just feels like you guys are missing in a part of the country in South Florida where they don't normally miss. I was like, hey, okay. So, yeah, not surprised to hear that kid's coming in there balling. Terrence Love, I wish him the best. I've always felt like he was in that weird spot of, is he a linebacker? Is he a safety? Mm-hmm. He's a little too big, to be a safety. It's just so, just kind of finding his game. J.C. Hart, he had an opportunity last year. He got passed up by some younger guys. And then on top of that, you got a guy like Blake Woodby coming in, Eric Winters coming in. Then you look at C.J. Johnson. It's like, okay, well, and I know Winters probably going to play some safety. He can play some corner. But obviously Fagans is going to play safety. Golly, his name slips my mind. It's been a little bit for football season. What's the kid? Harris, right?
The safety. Harris.
Yeah, Caleb Harris from Thompson. Just balled out. You got Sylvester Smith in that room. Where are the reps for C.J. Johnson? There's not any names here that surprised me, and any of the names that are kind of floating around rumored really wouldn't be surprised because they're all positions that are stacked, and that's just kind of what it is. And all three of these guys, Terrence, JC, and CJ, they got talent. So hopefully they can go somewhere else to find it. It's just this is part of it, man. Auburn has really recruited the secondary really, really well. And that's even when Auburn wasn't recruiting well overall. There was one position where Auburn was always killing it. So, and that hasn't changed. So to see these guys leaving, not surprised, wish them the best. And I agree with you. I think that Auburn is going to come in and add a couple of veteran pieces just to add some depth to that room. And I think the Philip Bleedy is a good example. Did he show out for Auburn last year? No, but he did exactly what we needed him to do, fill that role and be that guy. So that is where we sit on that. We get to some of your comments, and then we got one more segment here. Let's get to Timmy says, I'm watching both. I think Ike was live for a little bit there. He might still be live. Yeah. So Auburn Daz was watching us and watching Ike. I think he was doing a live for the members. So we appreciate you guys that are so dedicated to our show that you were watching two at once. Appreciate that. Speaking of dedication, Devin says, War Eagle fam hanging out at my son's baseball practice, waiting for the husband to get there so she can take the two younger boys home. Devin, I saw the pictures you posted of your son's baseball pictures today. Mm-hmm. They were looking like they were ready to hit some dingers, huh? So appreciate you being out there at baseball practice and still being locked in with us. Always appreciate you supporting Devin. This is Chuck, right? War Eagle fellas. It's been a while since I was able to catch y'all live. Yeah, we missed you, buddy. We've missed you, but glad that you're back and appreciate you. Longtime supporter of the show. So, Blake, I got to talk about this situation, though. That went on this week up in Knoxville. Mm-hmm. I think everybody watching this show, you're college football fans, so I don't have to really explain it too much to you. Starting quarterback of Tennessee, Nico Alamalea, I believe is how you say it, or at least I feel like I came close enough right there.
It's close enough.
Close enough. He doesn't really matter, to be honest with you. We won't be seeing much of him in the SEC anyway. Goes to Tennessee about a pay raise. Young man was already making. This is one thing I'm gonna really do my best at. I gotta quit calling them kids. Once they get out of high school, I gotta quit calling them kids because they are not. Yeah. You're not making kid money. This young man making 2.4, 2.5 million, somewhere in there, decides that the last week of spring practice, he needs a pay raise. He needs to make $4 million to play quarterback at the University of Tennessee. And Josh Heupel said, you know what? You missed practice on Friday, which, if you don't know, they're all sitting around Friday. Nico's dad, who is also, from my understanding, kind of running the show there, comes out on social media and blasts Pete Nakos from On3, who reported at first that there was this contract negotiations, or they were attempting these contract negotiations. And then less than 24 hours after his dad makes that post, Nico's a no-show at practice. Then you come to find out that Nico's family had actually approached Tennessee the week of the playoffs and said, hey, you know what? We need to renegotiate this week or we might sit out because we just got you to the playoffs. And this NIL deal was for 12 games and all this kind of stuff. Like, it's just been wild. Ultimately, Tennessee says, we're good. Mm-hmm. We're good. Now, is it going to be a blow to their football team come the fall? Probably so. But I think that at least on the production standpoint from the quarterback position, they're in a tough spot now. You lost your starter. You're at a point in time where, and this is the thing that I really respect Josh Heupel for, they thought they were going to use the time, Nico's camp, as leverage. Mm-hmm. Like, what are you going to do right here? This is spring. Last week of spring. What can you possibly do? There's not a better option than us in the portal. And it's true. They're like, probably not. There probably isn't going to be a better option to show up for them. But they had to draw the line somewhere. And me and you talked a little bit about it. And I think we both agree that it feels what Josh Heupel did. It feels like, yes, he stood up for a program and he stood up for Tennessee, and it's going to benefit them better in the long run. But also it feels like he kind of stood up for college football a little bit, mm-hmm. Like, you know what, dude? No, this is ridiculous. And there's got to be some structure here because you've said it a million times on the show. There's not a sport out there where free agency opens up the week of the playoffs. It's only college sports where Bruce Pearl's going into the Final Four, and he also has to figure out what his roster is going to be next year. It's only football where you're going into the playoffs and the portal's open up. College football. Mm-hmm. Every other sport has timelines and rules that make sense. And Josh said, no, you're not going to come in here and dictate this and dictate. You are not bigger than Tennessee.
Yeah.
And Blake, I hope that it's a moment of reckoning for college football. And I hope that it's something that we look back on and say what Heupel and Tennessee did kind of set the foundations for these schools and these coaches standing up and saying, you know what? You guys deserve to get paid. 2010, the blue number 2s in the stands at Jordan-Hare Stadium should have said Newton on the back. And he should have got money for that.
Yeah.
But it's gone too far, and good for Josh Heupel for standing up, man. We need some rules in this sport, Blake.
So the way I'm going to spin this is I've had a lot of conversations about it. I applaud Josh Heupel. I applaud the University of Tennessee for not caving. And the way I look at this is Nico is a 20-year-old young man. 19, 20, whatever. He is playing college football in the Southeastern Conference, which is the best conference in college football. He is the starting quarterback for the Tennessee Volunteers. He is the one who really broke through on the NIL trend and signed that big deal with Tennessee. And he was like that first little contract type thing where you were like, whoa, this dude's getting $8 million? Like, golly, like, what are we doing paying these kids that? So you come to Tennessee. You're making this money. You're a millionaire now. Right out of high school, you're a millionaire. You get the job. You go 10-2. You make the college football playoff. All right. I know he's not the reason why they made it. Dylan Sampson and that defense is the reason. But you made the college football playoff, right? So you felt some type of way. You felt like you deserved a raise. Your daddy was in your ear chirping, son, you're better than 2.5, 2.8, whatever he was making. You're better than that. You deserve more, son. You deserve more. Go get your bag. This is what I've heard a lot of people on social media say. Hey, man, when there's a bag available, go get that bag. Go get that bag. Go chase that money. All right. Well, guess what, y'all? There was no bag to chase because I look at this as a real life situation, what happened to Nico. Okay. And I will compare it to all of us going to our 9 to 5s every day, our everyday place of employment. So you walk into work and you were expected to do a job, right? And if you do that job and you're successful at that job, and man, you bring it 5 days a week, sometimes 6, which I'm talking about myself there. You are more than welcome to go up in that office and say, hey, man, I think I deserve a raise. I think I'm $2 extra more an hour than what I'm making right now. Well, let me tell y'all something. Nico went into the office, him and his daddy, all right, went into the office and said, Josh, we feel like we deserve a raise. And Josh pulled out the script and he said, well, let's look at what the work you've done. Let's see if you deserve a raise. 19 touchdowns, 5 picks, 2,600 yards. What was it, 8 or 9 touchdowns in SEC play, and 4 of them were against Vanderbilt?
Yeah, those numbers in the big games, not that great.
That's not, hey, you lost to Arkansas. That's not raise worthy. All right? Mm-hmm. That's not raise worthy. I can't have that. I can't fork out $4 million on you and you give me those numbers. Thanks. It just can't happen. So then what happens at your everyday place of employment when you don't show up to work? You no call, no show. What happens? You're gone. You're gone. You no call, no show, bro. You're out of here. You are out. We don't need you here. Hey, I had a boss tell me one time, if you can't give me 8, I don't need you. If you can't give me 8 hours a day, then I don't need you. And Nico, however you say it, he no called, no showed Friday. And when he no called, no showed, he quit on his team, he quit on Josh Heupel, and he quit on that university. So everybody was, oh, man, it's a mistake. If Tennessee gets rid of him, they're going to lose games. If Tennessee gets rid of him, they're in trouble. Where's the portal QB going to come from? Josh Heupel had to get rid of him because guess what? When Josh Heupel got rid of him, it showed that, hey, the ball is no longer in your court. The ball is in our court now. We are taking this thing back over. Now, Baker Mayfield, Cam Newton, Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa, Bryce Young. We could keep going down the list of guys that deserved a bag. RG3, I threw him out there last night when I was talking about it with some cats. Those are guys that could have went in. Johnny Manziel, they could have went in and said, hey, look, man, look, everything I did last year, like I feel like I need a raise. And then I would have been like, okay, yeah, for sure. Hell yeah, you do, Robert Griffin III. You deserve a raise. You brought a Heisman Trophy to Baylor, and you beat Oklahoma for the first time in years. Yeah, you deserve a raise, brother. But Nico don't deserve no raise. And Josh Heupel took a stand, like you said, for college football, not just for Tennessee. He took a stand for college football. And if the thing is true about Dan Lanning leaking all of this, hey, brother, kudos to you. Kudos to you for standing up and saying, hey, man, Josh, your quarterback's dad, he's shopping him around, brother, behind your back. Another thing I would like to say is all of these people out here who are saying, poor little Nico, poor little Nico. It was Nico's dad maneuvering things behind the scene. Nico's a grown-ass man. Like Dustin said, can't call them kids anymore. When you're making $2.5, $2.8 million a year, you ain't no kid. You live on your own at the University of Tennessee, you're a grown-ass man. All right. So what Nico could have done if he was truly careful, caring about Tennessee, and he wanted to be at the block T and play for Josh Heupel, he could have sat Daddy down and he could have said, "Hey, man, cut it out."
Yep.
He could have sat Daddy down and said, "Stop what you're doing right now. I love this university. I want to play for Coach Heupel, and I want to be at the University of Tennessee." But guess what? He didn't, and that means Nico was involved with his daddy the whole time. Because if Nico truly cared about Tennessee, he would have told Daddy to stop.
Yep.
And I'm tired of hearing the stuff about the Nico, the poor Nico. No, it's not poor Nico. I just told you. He could have told Daddy, "Hey, you need to stop or get on. Go on somewhere." Because Nico, he's a man now. He is a man. And there's going to come a day, if you're a teenager out there and you're watching this show, where you have to move out of the house. And guess what? You get to start making grown man decisions. And there's going to come a point where Dad tries to say, "Hey, look, man, you need to go do this." And you're going to say, "Hey, man, I don't have to go by those rules anymore." We've all been there.
Yep.
We've all been there, man. Nico could have said, "Hey, this is my money. I don't need all this. I don't need these distractions." Because guess what? Not one damn NFL GM is going to draft you now.
I ain't touching you. I wouldn't touch him.
Not touching him. What's the first thing a college recruiter looks at? Is their daddy, mommy issues with this player? Is mommy and daddy, are they involved? Are they drama filled? Are they going to cause any distractions? An NFL GM, they're looking at this whole situation and they're going, "Man, ain't no shot we're taking this kid." He ruined his career because of this. And then today it comes out that you're in talks with Tulane and you're asking for $2.8 million.
Tulane ain't got no $2.8 million.
Tulane is in New Orleans, Louisiana. They ain't got no damn $2.8 million. What are we doing? You're making yourself look like a clown. Daddy Nico, you look like a clown, man. Stop. Your kid don't deserve it. Like, it's out of this world, Dustin. I don't get it. But kudos to Josh Heupel for saying, "Hell no, pack it up and get out of here. I don't need this. I will lose football games before I cave into this garbage." Good for Tennessee, man.
Yeah. Daniel, no. No.
No.
Auburn don't have the money. Yeah. Auburn ain't got the money, and this is the exact mindset that Auburn's been trying to eliminate for years now. No, and I think we finally got some dogs. I'll start here. Look, the playoff thing to me, and Josh Pate, I saw him on the Pat McAfee show.
Yeah.
He said, "Hey, Nico's not the only player that approached this team the week of the playoffs and said, I think we need more money and threatened to sit out a playoff game." I'm going to start here. And I've said this before. These young generation, a lot of them, they like to have Kobe as their Twitter, like the banner on their Twitter, or, Michael and all this stuff. Buddy, y'all ain't, not all of them. There's dogs out there. There are dogs out there. Auburn's got a lot of them in that locker room. But some of them, man, it's just like, bro, I don't think you even know what you're talking about. The idea that you're worried about that the week of a playoff game.
Biggest game of your life, bro.
So weak. It's so weak. I'm not a Tennessee fan, obviously, but I'll tell you what, I respect that brand.
Yeah.
They've been selling out Neyland for 15 years, sucking ass.
They took over the shoe. They took over the shoe.
Dude, like, they were no good for a long time. And their fans stuck by them. Like, we know what that brand is.
Mm-hmm.
You're at Tennessee. They're finally good again.
Yep.
You've got an offensive genius, or it's working right now. Whatever Heupel's doing right now on offense is working. You've got that as your head coach.
Yep.
Dude, you're making more than some rookies in the NFL. What are you on about? And then, like you said, those aren't bad numbers, but they're slightly above average. It's nothing. Okay.
You shouldn't be making $4 million for those numbers.
You shouldn't be making two.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't be making two. And I don't know how much money do some of these people think is in the pot? How much money do you think Tennessee has, man? They got to pay other people. And then they've got, I bet they got basketball people, like they got their basketball coach coming to them, man. If I got a couple hundred more thousand, I could put them. And then they got their baseball coach coming to them, man, listen, if I could just get a couple 100,000, we can keep this thing rolling. And then they got their women's basketball coach coming to them and saying, if I could just get a little bit.
Softball.
How much money do y'all like? It's not like that, bro.
Yeah.
This is not the NFL. There's not this just. And even they have a limit. It's obviously bigger than what these colleges have, but it's a misunderstanding of, first off, it's a misunderstanding of how much money is there. But what really blows my mind, and this is, I condemn the parents more and the people in charge of the sport more for getting us into this situation. They were never proactive. They were always reactive. And here we are. I condemn the people, the Ryan Clarks of the world, who said on ESPN and said, there's no problem here. This is great. What? Oh, so y'all got a problem with college kids making money now? Oh, and insinuated you're all kind of bad things, and it's like, no. I remember the kid that was like a kicker at a smaller school. He had his own YouTube channel, and the NCAA made him ineligible. Hey, newsflash, you don't make a lot of money off of YouTube. We know that firsthand, okay? You're not going to make a whole lot of money off of it, even if your channel's doing really, really well. So that was always goofy. That was always a retarded thing for the NCAA to ban that kid for that. He should have been able to make his channel, do his content, and make money off of it. The players, the players without their names on the jersey, when we all know who it is, that's dumb. That's you're not having foresight. The creating the video games and not putting the players in it and giving them a cut of it, that was dumb. That's why we went 14 years without a college football game, because they didn't have any foresight. So I put all the stuff on them. But where I will come to the player is, buddy, the week of the playoffs, man, listen, you will not, like, even in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And the perception, this has always been a wrong perception. The weirdest tweets to me are the ones that are like the people that argue back and forth on Saturday and Sunday. I don't know. The NFL is a superior product or college is a superior. Well, I just am that person that just likes football. So I'm going to watch all the football. I don't, I just love the sport. I'm not sitting here trying to say this, that, and the other about either one. But the thing with the NFL is, man, it is a business, but what no player in the NFL is doing is going the week of the playoffs and trying to get something negotiated with a new deal.
Facts.
Because you won't be in the league. You won't be in the league. And maybe Nico found that out because somebody in college football finally said, you know what? You won't be on my team.
Facts.
And so that is it. That to me is where I put that on Nico and any of those other players that Josh Pate didn't name. If you were worried about your NIL negotiation the week of the playoffs, you're most likely not going to be successful in the pros. Yep. And you're not a competitor the way you think you are. You're not a dog. You're not none of that stuff. That's the softest, weakest thing I've ever heard of. I can't even imagine an athlete's brain going to that point. And then you brought up an example before we went live, and it actually happened at my old high school. Jacob Copeland was a 5-star at Escambia High School in Pensacola. His mom wanted him to go to Alabama. He wanted to go to Florida. He commits to Florida in my old gym, and his mom gets up and walks off.
Yep.
She's in all Alabama gear. Like, it was clear what her issue was.
Yep.
And Jacob went to Florida and got his degree. I think he had his graduate year. He ended up transferring to Maryland and playing there for a year. But he played 4 years at Florida. He still supports the Gators all the time on social media and stuff like that. He made the decision that he wanted to make. He wanted to go, and I think there was even a coaching change at Florida in his time, and he still stayed at Florida. Like, he just wanted to go to Florida. For Jacob, it was about that's the university he wanted. He wanted to go get his degree at Florida, and that's what he went and did. And he still seems like he's happy with his decision. He was old enough. He was 18. It was his decision to make. And another example from my old high school, Trent Richardson. Trent, and he's been public about it. So I'm not airing nothing that I shouldn't be here. He let the wrong people control his money. People from the block, people in his family. And he don't have any now, or at least not any of the NFL money. Because he let the wrong people guide him. So, and you know, you got to be careful with all that. But it's just one of them things, man, where it's like, when I graduated, my dad told me pretty quick, son, you either going to go to college or you going to get a job. But what you're not going to do is just hang around here at my house while you figure it out.
Facts.
So we figured it out pretty quick. By the time I was 20, my dad had no say-so in any of my decisions. And y'all see me interact with my dad. Comes in the comments sometimes and chats it up with y'all. Like, I have a good relationship with my dad. I love him. He's always been there for me. He's always had my back, and I still go to him for advice in life. But he don't make decisions for me. And he hasn't made decisions for me from the moment I walked across the high school stage and got my diploma. And he made that clear to me when I was 14. Like, buddy, I'm getting you ready now, because when you turn 18, I mean, we send kids to Iraq and Afghanistan at 18 to die. Come on, now you're getting $2.5 million to play college football, quarterback at Tennessee. I don't feel bad for you, bro. I don't feel bad for you. I'm not a Tennessee fan, but this year I am. I hope they rattle off 8-9 wins. It's going to be tough for them, but I hope they figure it out. And I hope Nico struggles to find a place. And college football is too big and there's too many teams, and somebody will do it eventually. But I wish it was a situation like the NFL where all the owners could just get together and say, you know what? He's out. He's out. And they're not getting $4 million. Where are you going to get that from? Where you going to get it? Like, they're not going to get that figure.
I don't know, man. Like, I just don't get it. I really don't. Like, why would you even do this? Come on, man. Just play ball. Just play ball. Like, the week leading up to the college football playoff, you're playing in the shoe, man. At Ohio State, the biggest game of your career, one of the most hostile environments in the country, and you're worried about a pay raise? Come on, dude. Like, it's stupid. This is what we talk about when y'all get in the comments and you're like, oh, you're worried about college football and where it's headed. Yes, because of this BS. Yeah. Come on, man.
Yeah, Daniel, I do agree with you on this one. Daniel says college football has become semi-pro, and this is where the bigger conversation goes in. And I'm not going to get on the soapbox because we got to get out of here. But we're going on the second year now where Auburn's not going to play LSU, where Auburn's not going to play Ole Miss. Maybe y'all feel differently out there, but I don't care. I care about Auburn going to Oklahoma because it's the game that Auburn has to play that weekend, and I hope Auburn wins it. I don't hate Oklahoma. They can't make me hate Oklahoma. They can't make me care about that game any more than it's just a game Auburn's got to play. I hate LSU. I hate Ole Miss. I hate Mississippi State. And for 2 years in a row, we're not going to play those games. So if college football is going to be this obvious as semi-pro, as this AA, they got to do something to keep it alive. You got to make it look something like what I grew up watching. And it doesn't. And on top of that, you're taking the rivalries out. On top of that, I got to go however long without Auburn playing LSU. Come on, man. It's just this sport, and it's what me and Blake have been hollering about since we had 10 subscribers. If you didn't see where this was going, then you just have blinders on. It's bad. It's bad. Sure. And the thing is the actual football in the NFL has always been better than college. Obviously, the best of the best are in the NFL. Anybody arguing that, I don't know what to tell you. but it was all the other things that made it different and made it great. If it just becomes AA, Blake, why wouldn't we just watch the big leagues? If it just becomes what AA ball is to Major League Baseball, it's not going to sell out 90,000 people across the South. It won't. It will not. And I sat in 2005 as a teenager. I sat at the start-finish line of the Daytona 500, and I looked around at a sold-out 200,000 people. A lot of people here, if you're from Alabama, y'all have been to Talladega back in the day. Remember when there was a waiting list to get the Talladega tickets? A waiting list. Now they give them, please come to Talladega, please.
Yep.
It can go south. It can go south. And if this week didn't show you that college football is on that path, I don't know, man. So, but I think that what Josh Heupel did was good for the sport.
For sure, man. For sure. And that's a great thing right there is like NASCAR went to changing things. They were trying to spice things up and it backfired and they lost the mojo in their sport. And I honestly feel like that's what college football is doing. And I think if you want to hire Nick Saban or whoever is the commissioner of college football and, you need some ground rules, man. You need some consequences to doing things, and it's just it's a mess. And so I'm honestly tired of seeing it. Like I don't even get hyped up about recruiting and transfer portal and all this stuff. Is because it's hard. It's hard because of things like this, man. Nico, like Tennessee fans thought Nico was the future. They thought they were going to have him for 2 more seasons. You saw it on Twitter. They were like, ha ha, joke's on you. Nico would never leave. He's all Vol, baby. Oh, so I'm just tired of seeing it, man.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys smash the thumbs up button, share this out on social media. If you're watching and you haven't subscribed, what are you doing? Become a member today. And we'll see you guys later on in the week. We got Auburn sports are popping off right now. We got plenty to talk about. So appreciate you guys being in here with us this evening. And we'll see y'all later on in the week, man. Love y'all. It's War Damn Eagle.
War Damn, baby.